YouTube says it has had enough of vaccine misinformation on its site.
And false stories from phony sites to run circles around major news outlets.
Many people don't know the difference between something real and something created to deceive them.
Open your eyes.
If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. The Neuralink needs to become a topic that everybody discusses. People need to understand what this technology is and the fact that Elon Musk is behind it. I've mentioned recently how when I bring this stuff up to MAGA supporters, to conservatives, they don't even know what the Neuralink is. Now, most of you who have followed my channel know I've been exposing the Neuralink for as long as I've been on this platform and any other platform, which is a very long time. And what you have to understand about the Neuralink is the connection between the Neuralink, the brain-computer interface, and the mark of the beast. Because the Neuralink is something that is implanted in the brain. It allows your brain to interact with a computer, right? Telepathy in a sense. But what they don't tell you is it allows the computer to interact with your brain. What they also don't tell the public yet is that the Neuralink implant isn't necessarily an implant where they have to cut your head open and stick it in your body. In fact, they can inject it into you. And what most people don't know about the Neuralink is that there's going to be multiple, because remember, there's the illusion of choice. There's the illusion that all these things as you're doing are you making a choice and a decision. You're buying Samsung, you're buying Apple. Guess what? Both are owned by your own government. These are government weapons that they're getting people addicted to, thinking that they're buying these with their own free will. And in a sense, they are, because they're bringing it into their homes. But if the government came to your door and said, hey, you got to have a cell phone. You can't live without a cell phone. You need one now. Nobody would have ever had a cell phone. In fact, when the cell phone first came out, people would have rejected it and risen up against the government saying, these are spying devices. I don't need this. I don't need a phone in my pocket around the clock. In fact, is this even safe in regards to radiation, right? So what did the government do? What does DARPA do? They create people like Elon Musk. They tell you that these are guys who are technologically advanced. These are corporations. These are Apple. They create this tech, and then you go out and you decide to buy it, whether it's the Amazon Echo, the iPhone, all this stuff that eventually enslaves you. What people need to know is the Neuralink is not alone. There's competitors like Paradromics. There's competitors like Synchron. And Paradromics I have not covered in the past, and I want to cover it because look at this article. Neuralink competitor Paradromics secures investment from Saudi Arabia's Neom. That's right, read closely. Paradromics will also establish a brain-computer interface center of excellence inside of the Neom. Now, for anyone out there, let's break this down. I'm going to break this down very easily for you, okay? So pay attention. The Neom, if you don't know, is this massive prison that they're building in the middle of Saudi Arabia. They call it the Line. It's a giant prison cell where you live in small quarters, you work in small quarters, but you think that you're free. And of course, you're told that you're living there to help out the environment, and it's a beautiful place to live. They put trees in the in the lobby of your prison cell. So it's the illusion that you're free living in prison. Of course, you're in the middle of the desert, but they'll tell you it's a resort. They say, hey, for an hour a week, you could go out in the water on a boat and you could be living like you're on a resort, right? It's all an illusion. These are massive prisons that are being built out. They're prison cities where once you're in, you're never getting out. And even if somehow you could get past the technology and actually get outside on your own, there's nowhere to go because you're in the middle of the desert. You notice how the line in the image that you're looking at is a giant mirror, a mirage, because people won't even be able to find you out in the middle of the desert or Neom. So let's look at this company that is working together to have a center inside of Neom. Because remember, these 15-minute cities, these smart cities are going to run through smart technology, right? And all that, seems to mean to people is like, oh, well, my phone is going to be hooked up to the internet and I'll be connected to the internet at all times, right? Through the phone. Yeah, you'll be connected, but you will be connected through a brain-computer interface. You, physically, your body will be connected, okay? That's what we're getting at here. So that's Paradromics working with Neom. And again, there's companies like Synchron, which is backed by Bezos and Gates. So you have Neuralink with Musk. Think about how the politics play into this, right? Oh, if you're anti-Musk, you're not going to get a Neuralink, but maybe you're pro-Gates and pro-Bezos, right? Because Gates and Bezos, the Democrats, seem to be perfectly fine with, right? And again, it just depends what day of the week it is, because these people turn, they switch their politics, and then the people who loved Elon Musk for all those years now hate Elon Musk, right? Because they needed Elon Musk to play the role of conservative so they can get conservatives duped into thinking that this guy is for the people while he's trying to get a brain chip inside of your body. So for anyone out there that doesn't know about Paradromics, here is a quick clip of what they're trying to do, a modem for the brain that enables your brain to connect through tech. Now, keep in mind what they say, because this is part of how they dupe people, that this technology is being created to help people with all sorts of disabilities, right? Neurological disabilities, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, right? That's how they get you to accept this tech in our world. Because you say, well, somebody has Alzheimer's, that's the worst thing ever. I've seen it depicted in movies so many times. Oh, I couldn't imagine having to deal with that, right? So if there's a technology to help people who are living like that, then I'm all for it, right? Technology seems fun and safe. And keep in mind, as they start telling you about that, how they start telling you eventually this will be sold commercially for people out there, because eventually the goal will be, after you find out all these fake propaganda stories about how people's lives have been changed from this, that it could better your life. That you who are tired and have anxiety and don't realize it's from all the chemicals dumped on you, for all the 5G towers around you, this will make you feel better. This could help you live longer. This could benefit all of us. That's the goal eventually. Listen how he goes from how this could help people with Parkinson's to eventually this will be commercial.
The brain is a super fascinating organ, and we have about 85 billion neurons, and every neuron is 1,000,000 times slower than a computer chip. And yet the brain does incredible things. But what that means is that if you want to get data in and out of the brain, you have to be able to talk to a ton of different neurons simultaneously. And that's where the emphasis on building these high-speed, high data rate devices came from. My name is Matt Engel. I'm the CEO and founder of Paradromics. Paradromics' mission is to transform otherwise untreatable health conditions in brain health into solvable technology problems. We're fundamentally building a medical device to serve unmet needs. And what that does is it allows us to connect to the brain and receive data from the brain. Those medical devices are prescribed by physicians. They're implanted in patients. The first patients to benefit from Paradromics technology will be patients who have lost the ability to communicate due to paralysis. People with ALS, spinal cord injury, who are trying to get back to normal communication with their families. But the same kind of device can also read out things like whether someone is depressed or whether someone's experiencing chronic pain. And so where we see the real clinical impact of BCI is that it's going to become a first line for many people with neurological health conditions.
The Paradromics system involves implanting an electrode array on the brain. This implanted device generates data and requires power. And so that data is sent through this cable. Power is received by the cortical module through this cable. This cable then connects up to a chest-based internal transceiver. Now, this internal transceiver is designed to be fully implanted so that there's no wires or ports from in the body to out of the body. And the way this is achieved is that power is wirelessly transmitted to this device, and high throughput data is transmitted from this device to outside of the body. The device does not require any charging. The one thing you would have to do as a user is go through a brief calibration routine to learn that mapping from electrical signals to intention. But once that mapping is learned, the system can be used. And what we know from existing research in this area is that we can sustain that use over days and weeks.
I would expect that we would have commercial approval to sell the product no earlier than 2029. We see that the first 1 million people to get brain-computer interfaces are going to be getting them to treat severe medical conditions. I think there could be a different conversation 20 years from now, and some of those devices could also have consumer applications. But in the meantime, we're really focused in building safe, reliable, robust devices for people with physical and mental conditions.
So that's Paradromics, and this is all about what is called the Internet of Bodies. It is a concept that is very real that most people don't seem to fear because they don't seem to think it's physically possible. They don't understand energy, the human body, how this technology actually works, how they harvest energy, and how they're turning you into the phone because it sounds too crazy. They think of the scene from the Batman movie, right, where the cell phone is sewn into the guy's stomach. Like, what, are they going to put the phone in my stomach? Right? They don't understand any of this stuff, and they refuse to understand it because it's too much for their brain to actually handle. So what they're trying to do is create an Internet of Bodies, and it's already created. It's already in place, but eventually this Internet of Bodies, of course, changes you because it's a part of you, and you're a part of this Internet of Bodies.
One of the features of this fourth industrial revolution is that it doesn't change what we are doing, but it changes us.
The very idea of human being some sort of natural concept is really going to change. Up until now, the conversation we've been having is around freedom of speech. Once we can access people's thoughts and access people's emotion.
The focus, as all of you know, today is on what's now called the Internet of Bodies, involving medical implants and other kinds of devices that go inside your body and all together with the Internet as a whole comprise the Internet of Bodies.
The Internet of Bodies, or IOB, is actually an ecosystem. It's a bunch of devices that are connected to the Internet that contain software and that either collect personal health data about you or can alter the body's function. We think of the Internet of Bodies as this collection of all these devices.
So, of course, you could listen to all that stuff and it sounds horrifying. And most people just dismiss it because they go, well, they're not going to do that to me, right? But they don't realize that all of these people, like Elon Musk, have been talking about how cell phones are going to go obsolete. I've been talking about it for a long time, right? We heard the guy at the World Economic Forum talk about the president, the CEO of Nokia, how phones will be obsolete by 2030. Elon Musk, smartphones will be obsolete. BCIs like Neuralink are the way forward, right? Tesla's wireless world system, turning the Earth into one gigantic dynamo. Ever see this image before? Most people don't know that we have free energy, that it's accessible to all of us, right? Most people don't think about it. They plug something into the wall and they don't think any further of how whatever's in the wall charges their phone. They just think that's how it is, right? That all homes come with it and it's just something they don't think. They're not trained to think. They're trained to be dumb. They're trained to be distracted and they're trained to always want to be entertained. But free energy does exist and they're going to use, and they are using free energy to create this wireless world system, which you will be physically a part of. So when Elon Musk says that phones are going to become obsolete, think of this. The Starlink stuff that's going on, right? He's talking about and putting all these things out there with Starlink, saying that no matter where you are in the world, you're never going to go offline. You could be in the middle of the desert and you don't have to worry about your phone not connecting. You don't have to worry about your phone roaming. You'll automatically be connected to it. So you don't have to worry about that. And everyone's cheering it on, right? But what they're not paying attention to is that, well, the Starlink is out there, right? And Elon Musk is telling you that phones are going to be obsolete. So what is the Starlink going to be connecting to, right? Well, let's hear Elon tell you about how you'll never be able to escape first.
Because, yeah, even if an entire region or country was lost connectivity because of a severe, hurricane or floods or fires or tornadoes, earthquakes. There's so many natural disasters, obviously. You would actually still have, even if all the cell towers were taken out, your phone would still work. Thank you.
Right, so you'll never be able to escape. And of course, they tell you that the opposite way. They say, well, it's not for you to escape. It's so that we can always find you in case of an emergency, right? Because we have everybody trained to constantly be in fear, right? Used to be a day you could drive out of your home without a phone and you wouldn't be afraid that if you broke down, you need a phone. People now, they have to have their phone with them. I've said it before. They'll turn around if they're an hour away from their destination just to go home if they forgot their phone. But of course, they'll never get an hour away because at every stoplight or even while they're driving, most of these trained sheeple will text, will call. They cannot live without it. And that's why when the proposal comes that the next phone has to be in you, kind of like how we transitioned from the flip phone, they pushed you out of 2G, 3G, 4G into 5G. They'll push you out of this and they'll say, well, it's phone or nothing, right? And you'll say, well, obviously phone. They'll say, well, it's not a phone anymore. It's a BCI. It's embedded in your body. So your phone now gets thrown out. They're not going to work on this network. And you're going to say, but I can't live with that. And they're going to say, well, you're going to have to upgrade. And the latest upgrade, of course, is to have it in you, right? And what you're seeing again is Skynet being built out. Literally Skynet, right? In the Terminator universe, Skynet is depicted as a highly advanced artificial intelligence system that is connected to a vast network of computers, military systems, and communication infrastructure, essentially giving it control over a global network of machines and power grids, allowing it to monitor and manipulate information on a mass scale. It is essentially hooked up to the entire world's interconnected systems, including military defense networks, power plants, and communications hubs. So that brings me back to paradromics, the brain chip, the Internet of Bodies. Well, you have Starlink, you have all this technology going up that they tell you is to make sure you never go offline, but then they're telling you that the phone's going to be obsolete, right? And then you connect it in to Neom, right? Neom, the smart city that they're building in the middle of the desert. It is a literal line in the desert. And what it's about is you being connected inside of the smart city. The smart city running and operating on you. For anyone out there that doesn't know what Neom is, here's a look at the prison cities that they're building out and how they market it as a utopia, as a resort, right? When you see this commercial, if you're not thinking, you would just be like, well, that looks cool. I'd love to live there, right? Yeah, it looks like a vacation. Can I go for free? It's good for the environment. Cool, sign me up, right? This is what they're marketing to people.
What is Neom? This is Neom, or here, to be more precise, in the northwest of Saudi Arabia. But Neom is more than a place. It's a home for people who dream big. Bigger than that. That's more like it. It'll be a hub for innovation, an entirely new model for sustainable living. The vision for a new future. In fact, that's how it got its name. But what will be there? There's Oxagon, a thriving city at the crossroads of the world, where advanced manufacturing will enable industries of the future. Trojana, a year-round mountain destination. And just remember to pack your skis when you visit. Or if skiing's not your thing, there's always Sindala, one of Neom's many beautiful islands, perfect for some R&R. And the Line, a 500-meter high, 200-meter wide, 170-kilometer long city in the shape of, well, a line. No roads, cars, or emissions. And everything its 9 million residents could ever need within a 5-minute walk. But best of all, the entire region will offer unparalleled access to nature and will be powered by clean energy. All within easy reach of the rest of the world. I know what you're thinking. Why does the world need Neom?
That's a good question.
The world needs Neom because the world needs change. That's what we mean when we say
Made to change.
Neom represents a global opportunity for one, changing how the world does business by making the region a special economic zone, easing the way for entrepreneurs to blaze their trail. Two, changing the way we live our lives with preventative healthcare and the highest standards of livability. Sounds nice, right? And three, changing how we look after nature and our planet. Because without this, what use are 1 and 2? But how will Neom achieve these aims, you may ask? Within Neom are 14 sectors, spearheaded by the world's best talent. Each sector has been designed to advance technology and push the very limits of human knowledge. Imagine Neom as a prototype for a better future. A future for all. One being built to last. Sound good? Great. So when the world asks, what is Neom? You'll know to answer that Neom's a place that'll change the way we live on this planet. Simple, really.
So, of course, the majority of sheeple will see that and they'll want to go. They'll sign up for it. And, of course, we know they will in the future, too, when they do offer this to people and say that they can live rent-free, right? But meanwhile, the little connection there is that living inside of these places, right? Well, when the phone's obsolete, don't worry about it, okay? Because you're going to have Paradromics right in headquarters at Neom, operating for Neom. And Paradromics is going to make sure you're connected to the system inside of Neom. So everything that occurs inside of the line is going to be monitored and tracked. Your movements, everything with the technology under your skin, okay? You're not going to need the Fitbit on your wrist anymore. It's going to be in you. And Neom is going to track and monitor all the things you do, but tell you, of course, it's for the benefit of the environment. It's the benefit for you. So at the end of the day, you can look at your data. Did you get the best out of your day today? Let's find out. The data will tell you, right? And you'll think in your mind that all the information you're getting, all the thoughts that you had that's getting processed from Paradromics or Neuralink, right? Because it's going to be listening to your thoughts. Your thoughts are going to be communicating with a computer interface, right? All hooked up inside of that smart city. And all these things you're going to say, well, instead of saying what you should be saying, which is absolutely not, this is hell on earth, where's my pitchfork? These people need to go. People are going to say, that sounds pretty fun. And they're going to market you and say, be the best you could be, right? Well, with this type of tech, we can find out if you're wasting time during your, are you efficient enough in your every movement? Are you doing enough? How's your heart rate? How's your, well, it's all underneath your skin inside of these smart cities. And that's what the future holds. It looks exactly like that. It's not a coincidence that Paradromics is now going to have their own center of excellence inside of Neom, which will be really the world's first smart prison that people will think is a smart utopia. Because the people who reside in there, one of the qualifications to reside will be that you'll have to have Paradromics or Neuralink or some type of brain-computer interface underneath your skin, because the entire operating system is going to run that way. And the operating system, the Internet of Bodies, is not based on giving you information that's useful to you. It's used, of course, to monitor your every breath, your every step, your every movement. This is what they're building out. This is just one of the blueprints. Think about Trump with the Freedom Cities. Think about the Neuralink connected to Trump now. Because before Elon Musk, most conservatives would have seen Elon Musk just out there talking about the Neuralink or whatever and said, I don't really care about I don't want an electric vehicle, right? Well, now that he's lumped up with Trump, they're more open to Tesla. They find the Tesla robots cool. Do you see what they're doing? And they don't even realize what the Neuralink's actually going to be used for. Brain-computer interface. The same guy says the phone's going to be obsolete in a few years. Well, if the phone's obsolete, Elon, then why are you going to put all these things up in the sky? What are you going to monitor? Where's the phone going to be? Well, it's going to be in you, right? It's like the old scene from The Matrix where he holds up that Duracell battery, turning you into this. That's exactly what they're doing. So Paradromics, how convenient, right? Paradromics is securing investments from Neom and is also going to have a brain-computer interface center right in the middle of their giant prison. I'm sure, again, the requirement to enter this prison, which is amazing that we're at this point, but think about the psychosis out there. People are going to sign up to go to these prisons because this is going to be marketed to them as utopia. Oh, it's great. It's better than living where I live now. I don't have to pay rent. All I got to do is get a brain-computer interface in me. Right. And then there's no going back once you got that in you. This is the world we live in. Everything has been flipped on its head. They can market people into taking the mark of the beast. They could market people into signing up to live in jail cells. They could tell people out there that they have to take a shot that won't make them immune to a disease, but they need to take it anyway, and they'll still go and get it. We're living in the upside down. So Paradromics, another Neuralink company with a brain-computer interface, setting up inside of the world's biggest smart city prison. Irony? No. This is the way the world's going to be moving forward. You're going to be connected to the grid. You, physically. I thank everybody for being here. Hope you're all doing well. God bless you and your families as always.